Hey y'all, it's me all in good fun, and I'd like to talk about the speech that was given by the fetid orange creature who occupies the White House earlier today. So he addressed the nation, and I'm only going to talk about 3 or 4 things because I could be here for all day talking about everything he said. First of all, he talked about how he's going to send the National Guard into Chicago, and he hopes that the governor of Illinois writes him a letter saying, please help us out. We need the National Guard, because if it weren't for the National Guard in Los Angeles, the whole city would burn to the ground. So please send a letter. Well, I think if Governor Pritzker is to send a letter, it's going to say, fuck you. Get the F out of my state. Anyway, on the same subject, Governor Gavin Newsom of California, he sued the Trump administration for having taken over the National Guard in California to send them into Los Angeles where they weren't needed or requested. And a judge ruled in Governor Newsom's favor, saying that it was illegal of the Trump administration to try to take over a state's National Guard. So there we go with that one. But let's move on. Then he went on to talk about police officers and how they're big, strong, very capable people, unless they're woke hires. Because the woke ones, they're weak and feeble, don't deserve to have the job. But I think what he's really saying is if you're not white, you don't deserve to be a police officer because, it's a woke hire. They used to say DEI hires. Now it's just saying woke. Anyway, better woke than dead, I always say. But let's move along to the next topic. Next thing, when he was talking about Chicago and why he needs to send the National Guard, he went on and on and on about the pew-pews, the weapons that people have, and how these big old thugs, these criminals in Chicago, they're aiming the pew-pews, unaliving people. And that was bad. Pew-pews are bad. But what the heck? I heard pew-pews are bad, so what the F? What are you going to do about it? Oh, what he's going to do is send the National Guard. How about last week when somebody with the pew-pew aimed it into a church school window and unalived little kiddos who were there praying, injuring a bunch of people too? How about that? He didn't say anything about that. I guess in that case, pew-pews aren't bad. I don't even understand. We're not going to regulate it. We're going to send in the National Guard. Finally, the last thing I'm going to say, because I'm running out of time. He talked about United States, the hottest nation in the whole world. Everybody's talking about the United States. Well, guess what? That is entirely true. Everybody is talking about the United States. How we have a convicted felon clown in the White House. How we're putting tariffs on the entire world and all the nations that used to be our friends. Putting tariffs on everybody so the president can sell gold-plated sneakers and $60 Bibles made in China. All that stuff. And turn the United States into an authoritarian dictatorship, build concentration camps, abduct people, break up families. Yep, everybody's talking about the United States, but it certainly isn't because the United States is hot. I'm all in good fun.